Today, I'm going to show you a zero-touch provisioning workflow that we set up for one of our clients.
Okay. Uh, Eric is trying to get into, and he's not able to.
Yeah, I just added them.
Okay. That was weird. I don't know why that didn't work for him. And it automatically made him co-host and everything, so.
He might have had like 3 different calendar invites, and then one of them, all but one, had the wrong link.
Yeah.
Are we talking about the same Zoom join thing that happens every month that all the best tech minds in the world still can't figure out? Because I have no idea. We've been doing this for years and still the eighth wonder of the world. Zoom links. Hey Dan, how are you?
Well, thanks.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for joining us. It's always exciting to have you on.
I'm confident I can change your mind.
I'm gonna use that one. How are we doing the rest of the Rocket Man team? We got Chris here, Hugo. I hear Lisa. I don't see Lisa.
I'm here. I just I put that nice fancy screen on and my camera off just because reasons.
That's okay. Sounds good. Your secret is safe with me.
I'm just a ghost. I'm not real. I put that nice fancy.
We got 11:56 Rocket Man time. This is the pre-warm-up chit chat. We haven't even gotten into the formal chit chat. We can keep it real loose.
Um,
Are you just dropping a fat on us, Lisa? Amazing.
oh, sorry. I
What
should just mute myself at this point.
Oh,
All right, this is the pre-LaunchPad podcast.
oh.
Today, we're going to talk about Florida. An interesting detail. Eric actually lived in Florida for some time. You want to talk about your time there, Eric?
Are you riffing right now? Is that why
I'm
I'm
riffing.
confused? Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I lived in Florida. Thanks for the softball there, Chris. Florida's great. You know,
All right, the one question everyone's wondering, what is your Florida man? Or are you a Florida man?
no, mine has to do with like cheeseburger assault. I don't this is that's bordering on like an inappropriate question. If you Google your birthday and then Florida man, there's like a news article that's attached to whatever your birthday is. And so that's what your Florida man is. And mine's like Florida man pushes girlfriend downstairs with a cheeseburger. I'm like, okay. That's we're I mean 2 minutes before the podcast even starts and we've already gotten weird. So no more riffing, Chris. Hey everyone, welcome to the LaunchPad Rocket Man podcast pre-show where you know that throws me off my game immediately. How do you compete with that? Dan, what city are you in again?
Columbus.
Ohio?
I've got a rhyme that sounds like a riddle.
Ooh.
What's round on the ends and high in the middle? Oh, hi, oh.
Nice.
I am so here for all the dad jokes.
Is Columbus, is that where Ohio State is, the horseshoe, or is that in
No, yeah, they're here. The Ohio State University.
the Ohio State? They're playing Indiana this weekend. Is that at at Ohio State, or is that at a neutral for the conference championship?
Well, some of us follow BYU.
I also follow, so I'm a UCF fan. There's your Florida tie-in, Chris. And so as a fellow Big 12, I am hooting and hollering about BYU not getting the respect they deserve.
Oh, that's yeah.
Let's dig into that. Like, can we push back the meetup? Let's talk college football for 45 minutes. BYU's got the better resume, one loss. They're playing Texas Tech this weekend. I think, and the worst part is if BYU beats Texas Tech, Texas Tech they'll get no respect. They'll drop them 15 spots or whatever they want to do because the committee just does whatever they want to do. Oh, now I'm heated. It's good to know that you'll be cheering for BYU this weekend along with me out there in the world. They need all the help they can get in the respect. Have you been to a BYU game, Dan?
No, but my wife attended the one that was in Cincinnati.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's every time I see that stadium on TV, I'm like, that's got to be a bucket list stadium. It is gorgeous out there with the Rockies behind
Oh
them.
yeah. Yeah, the Bell Edwards Stadium is great.
Let's see. Well, Dan, you are bringing the crowds here. I'm playing whack-a-mole with the entries. Dan, you're one of the few people that Reddit says nice things about. That's a fun fact. Reddit is an interesting world, and I saw a really nice post about you the other day, and I'm like, that doesn't happen on Reddit very often. That's impressive.
I think that is slide number 11.
That's that's exciting. Reddit doesn't say nice things about us. I don't know why. It's funny at this point, but there's like 4 people on Reddit that really don't like us. And I'm like, okay. Mm-mm. All right, we are 1 minute in, and we got a great guest this month. So I don't know if I necessarily need to riff for 5 or 10 minutes like we typically do. To be fair, we get a lot of really great guests. So if you're one of our previous great guests, you're on that list as well too. I just think we could all benefit from a little bit less of me and more of y'all. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to LaunchPad, the Jamf admin meetup, hosted by Rocket Man. I'm your host, Eric, along with the other Rocket Man team here. We're really excited to have Dan K. Snelson on the show this month. I don't want to steal any of his thunder. A lot of you know Dan. If you don't know Dan, well, buckle up. He's a great presenter. I'm excited for what he's got for us today with the Mac Health Check. Before we get into that, we will start with the gravity times. Hugo, I don't know if I'm putting you on the spot. If you're ready to go, oh,
I'm
beautiful.
ready.
I know I got started a little early this month. The gravity times is where your Apple news and rumors are down to earth. That's just a cute tagline. We basically read patch notes. It's not that big of a deal, but it's worth mentioning. So, Hugo, I will kick it over to you. Start sharing your screen, do that whole shebang. But
Thank you,
welcome,
Eric.
everyone.
Hi, everyone. I'm Hugo Mediato. I'm a senior engineer here at Rocket Man Tech, and I'll be going over the gravity times with you today. So as far as Apple updates go, since our last meetup, the beginning of November, we haven't had any new updates at all. One thing to note is that the 26.2 release candidate for Tahoe did drop this week. So if anyone wants to test that, that is available now. As far as Jamf updates go, we got Jamf Pro 11.23.0 as well this week. That'll be rolling out to all of the different hosted regions starting next weekend. And there's a few updates here I want to go over. We've got PPPC updates. So a lot of these updates for 11.23 give us more granular control, not just the PPPC update here, but with the PPPC update, we got 3 new functionalities here. So we can allow Bluetooth always. So we can allow devices to access certain Bluetooth settings. We've got system policy app bundles that allows us to update or delete other apps using an app. And then we got system policy app data, where we can allow apps to access the data of other apps. We have got some inventory additions as well. Again, more granular control. They added bundle short version and bundle version for applications to a computer's inventory record. So under applications, you will now see that data available. And then you can parse this out in the criteria of smart computer groups, and you can start building a little bit more robust application-specific smart computer groups with this data. We've got a new return to service feature for mobile devices. So if you go to pre-stage enrollments under the general tab on 11.23, you'll now see that you can add multiple Wi-Fi payloads and allow the user to return to service. And what this does is you can apply, so a configuration profile is required. So you build out your Wi-Fi payload and your cert payload for your configuration profile. You select it within this pane, and then when you set that device to return to service, wipe and re-enroll, it'll attach to that SSID using that certificate. So if you're on some kind of enterprise environment, corporate environment where it requires that, you'll have no issues reconnecting to Wi-Fi during re-enrollment. And then finally, we got a software update blueprint edition. Now, personally, I have not tested this. I'm always a little apprehensive about these, but they did give us the ability to automatically schedule updates for the latest updates. And for 30 days after the release of that update, it'll be able to automatically enforce that and deploy that update to the end user's device so that they can begin that update process. So a lot of nice additions here from Jamf this month, little features that we've been requesting for a while now. So it's great to see. We do have a Rocket Man tech announcement, so I'm going to hand this over to you, Chris, to make this announcement.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited to announce that we have a new member of our team, Jeff Root, who is also is joining for his first LaunchPad. Jeff has been in the trenches with Jamf Pro for almost a decade, working as Jamf as a enterprise support tech, working through the escalations in that channel. So you may have seen him around there. He's also worked as a test engineer, uncovering Jamf product issues. He has a knack for troubleshooting that really rounds out our team. So we're super happy to have him. On top of that, he has a master's degree in both nuclear physics and science. And he's been playing bass badly for 22 years. So very happy to have him on our team. And you'll see his face around over the next couple months and so as we get him onboarded here.
Jeff has prepared a quick 10-minute speech for us all, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it over. Jeff, I'm just kidding. We can go back to you, Hugo.
All right, thanks, guys. Yep, super happy to have Jeff on the team. So now we're going to move into feature requests. If anybody has any feature requests that they would like to spotlight, please share them in the chat. And if you'd like to discuss it, I will call on you and we can you can speak about the feature request you're requesting. We've done so many of these, I don't know if there's any feature requests left. Oh, here we go. We've got a feature request coming in from Matt. Matt Jerome, would you like to speak on your feature request?
It's something really simple. In the app switcher where you can switch from Pro to Protect Security Cloud, add community, account, and ideas to that to make it easier to switch between everything.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, please go and upvote that, everyone. Let's get that up on Jamf's radar. Tony Young mentioned he's not going to speak on it, but the compliant, he has got a compliance benchmark to support historical trends within the compliance benchmarks feature requests. So please check that out. We've got Adam Duran trying to summon Howie. I'm going to give it another 30 seconds here, and if there's no more, we're going to move on. And Howie does not have any feature requests today. All right, well, thank you, everyone, for sharing that. And I'm going to hand it back over to you, Eric.
Thank you, Hugo. Short, sweet, to the point. It's a beautiful thing. Well done, Hugo. Thanks for doing that.
And that's me, short and sweet.
All right, and moving on, we have Dan K. Snelson for his second time, I believe. Second or third time? Second time. And Dan, I don't want to steal any of your thunder. As we said earlier, most people in the community know you. And if you don't, well, buckle in because you're about to. We'll go ahead and start sharing your screen to make sure that you've got all the permissions that you need.
All right, you can hear me,
I can hear you loud and clear.
and I think we're sharing this.
Oh, that looks beautiful. Well, Dan, unless you need anything from me, the floor is yours.
All right, I'm going to turn off video here.
Dan,
That,
sorry, do you mind keeping your video on for us? Oh, look at that.
is this going to work for you?
Oh, it will totally work for us.
Oh, wow. Already delivering.
Happy Friday, everyone. My name is Dan Snelson, and I am a senior system engineer with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We are sometimes referred to as Mormons because of our belief in a volume of companion scripture to the Holy Bible called the Book of Mormon. Let's talk about how to easily provide your users a heads-up display of critical computer compliance information via self-service. Here's our agenda. We'll start off with a few demos, followed by some short overviews. Then we'll briefly discuss deployment. We'll spend the bulk of our time together discussing how you can adapt the various checks for your environment. We'll review how to troubleshoot the most common implementation error, then finish up with some resources, after which I'll try to answer any questions you may have. Let's look at a few demos of Mac Health Check. Here's a 59-second demo of Mac Health Check being executed via self-service on a fully enrolled healthy Mac. Don't blink. We call self-service the Workforce App Store. The user is immediately shown the various health checks, and clicking the Help button in the bottom right-hand corner reveals static information, all in a single heads-up location. Included health checks leverage online third-party resources, built-in macOS binaries, as well as Jamf Pro policies. So that was a demo of Mac Health Check being executed via self-service on a fully enrolled healthy Mac. Here's a 67-second demo of Mac Health Check being executed via self-service on a fully enrolled unhealthy Mac. Mac Health Check seamlessly integrates with either Microsoft Teams or Slack to easily keep your entire team in the loop when a failure does occur. In this example, we've set ridiculous values for both uptime and free disk space to more easily simulate failures. When a Mac is unhealthy, your entire team can be quickly notified via a Slack or Teams webhook, which includes a handy link to the Jamf Pro computer record. So that was a demo of Mac Health Check being executed via self-service, where we had purposely simulated failures to test webhook functionality. Here's a demo of Mac Health Check being executed via an elevated terminal session on a fully enrolled virtual machine, which is how I recommend you initially test. We'll start by reviewing the blog post, purposely ignoring all of the carefully written documentation and scrolling down to the deployment section. Once there, we'll immediately hop on over to GitHub to grab the latest version. We'll execute the downloaded code as is in a previously elevated terminal session. After all, that's what you should do with random code you've downloaded from the internet. Here, Mac Health Check is running in self-service mode, which is what you'll use in production. And of course, all of the checks will pass for this demo since the script is already tuned for my environment. We're going to minimize the dialog and allow Terminal to access data from other apps. There is also a test operation mode where everything is displayed, but the checks don't actually execute, which is helpful when you're customizing Mac Health Check. So that was a demo of Mac Health Check being executed via an elevated terminal session on a fully enrolled virtual machine, which is how I recommend you initially test. Let's level set with a few overviews. First, the original inspiration for Mac Health Check came from none other than the talking moose himself, who is also mentioned on line number 9 of Installamator for you trivia buffs. Bill's version leveraged AppleScript. Check out the 32 days of uptime from back on the 14th of August 2018. Where were you 7 years ago about the middle of August? Bound to Active Directory and rockin' Mac OS 10.13.6, baby. Love the battery cycle count too. Good times. Also, a shout out to Robert Schroeder for helping me jumpstart version 0.0.1. Thanks again, Rob. Next, none of this would be possible without Bart and swiftDialog. Bart Reardon has provided the Mac admin community swiftDialog, an open source utility written in SwiftUI that displays a pop-up dialog which can include content-rich messages for your end users. While Bart is fond of saying that swiftDialog itself has no brains, swiftDialog can return various values from user input on which your script can act and continue processing. The project is available on GitHub, and Bart has an extensive wiki with detailed examples. Additionally, there's built-in help when you need a quick answer. Here's a QR code where you can learn more. And the early Reddit reviews are in. Well, as P.T. Barnum would say, there's no such thing as bad press. I, too, sometimes wonder why. Why am I doing this? Let's talk about just 2 use cases for Mac Health Check. Both help your internal support representatives to succeed. For your Tier 1 support group, Mac Health Check can be used as step 0 to quickly execute a variety of basic troubleshooting steps. Does the user have a working internet connection? Does the user know their directory credentials? Can the Mac actually execute policies? Will the Mac pass your organization's network access control requirements? These questions and more can be answered in about 4 minutes by having the end user run Mac Health Check via self-service at the start of every Tier 1 call. For Tier 2, Mac Health Check can be used as step 99 to easily confirm remediation efforts were successful, and as the initial assessment for remote support sessions to help ensure an accurate original diagnosis by Tier 1 support. Version 2.5 introduced a new silent operation mode where no dialogues are displayed to the end user, which makes Mac Health Check ideal for IT visibility without end user intrusion. Let's discuss the general approach for the information displayed to the end user in Mac Health Check. Generally, health checks are the more time-intensive processes. For example, Rob Schroeder's bundled function, which queries the Mac admin's simple organized feed for Apple software updates and compares it to your organizationally defined requirements for compliant versions of Mac OS, for example, N-2. Or the Isaac Mann-inspired MDM-agnostic Apple push notification service check, which looks at the last 24 hours of log entries for the com.apple.managed client service. Or Jordy Whitman's bundled functions from his excellent support app, which validate the most recent Jamf Pro check-in and inventory update. These checks and more are concluded with the built-in macOS network quality binary, which can help determine the speed of the Mac's internet connection, the results of which can be cached for any duration of your choosing. So, any time-intensive test or anything you want displayed front and center to the end user should be considered a health check. Static information reporting is contained in the help message variable, which users can view by clicking the question mark in the bottom right-hand corner. This is the heads-up display of critical information support representatives need when triaging a Mac. Additionally, a few under-the-hood settings are included in the Jamf Pro policy log only, which can prove helpful for a more holistic understanding of each Mac. For example, if the currently logged-in user is a local admin, SSH, and battery cycle count. Information a Mac admin may need, but which you may not want to directly expose to your end users. Let's briefly discuss deployment. For your initial deployment, you'll modify the script in your preferred code editor, starting with specifying your organizational defaults. For example, the path to your client-side script logs, your organization's color scheme, logo, and banner image, how many previous versions of macOS are considered compliant, how much free disk space is required, allowed uptime. You get the idea. You'll then add the script to your Jamf Pro server, then create a policy to execute the script, then test, test, test. Pretty straightforward and nothing you haven't done hundreds of times already. Where I wanted to spend the bulk of our time together is on adaptation for your environment. Before you start adapting Mac Health Check, it's important to understand that there are two types of checks. The first type of check is internal. For example, leveraging a test operator to determine if an enterprise-required app like Microsoft Teams is installed, or leveraging other built-in macOS binaries like network quality to determine the user's internet connection speed. The second type of check is external. For example, yes, CrowdStrike Falcon is installed, but is it running? External checks leverage scripts which themselves can be hundreds of lines of code and for which you may be rapidly iterating, so having the code sourced externally in a single location makes the most sense. Let's take a look at both types of checks in greater detail. Internal checks leverage built-in macOS binaries and then analyze the results to determine if the Mac passes or fails. As just one random example, let's take a deeper dive into the check for system integrity protection. Here's a deeper dive into the internal check for system integrity protection. In our preferred code editor, we've navigated to the check SIP function. Each check starts by defining a human-readable description and then adding a notice to the script log. Next, the dialog update function is leveraged multiple times to change what's displayed to the end user. The icon, which is displayed in the upper left, the list item itself, a status of wait, will display the ever-familiar spinning pinwheel. The progress bar is incremented. Last of all, the text below the progress bar is updated. The script is optionally paused to build anticipation. A variable is set to the specific check. Then a case statement is leveraged for the various outcomes. You'll notice the unique dialog update settings for the pass or fail outcomes. External checks leverage code you've already written, simply added to a new single script Jamf Pro policy. The code of an existing extension attribute is saved as a script in your Jamf Pro server. This script is then added to a simple Jamf Pro policy with a custom trigger. This custom trigger and the path to the app itself, so that its icon can be displayed to the end user, is then specified in Mac Health Check. When the policy executes successfully, the returned output must include the keyword running, meaning the service which you're validating is running. Several external checks are included in the GitHub repo, including CrowdStrike Falcon, Microsoft Office, Palo Alto Networks Global Protect, and more. Let's look at a couple of demos of adapting the user interface. Here's a three-part demo using a previous version of Mac Health Check of modifying the colors and overlay icon to better match your organization's branding. In our preferred code editor, we'll start by changing operation mode from debug to production, or what is now called self-service. Save, and then execute the script in a previously elevated terminal window. To gracefully close swiftDialog, we'll hold down the Command key and the Quit key defined in the script, followed by Control-C to stop the script itself. Let's change the banner image to something stored locally on the Mac. We'll Control-click on the desired image, then hold down the Option key to copy the path. We'll need to remove the surrounding single quotes. Save, and then execute the script in our elevated terminal window. Again, close swiftDialog by holding down the Command key and the defined Quit key, followed by Control-C to stop the script. Let's use Digital Color Meter to grab the hexadecimal values of the banner image. Which we'll update in the script. Hey, that's looking all right. For part two, we'll change the banner image to something less boring using the same process as we just observed. Noise.
I'm glad you did it. I almost snapped.
As our final branding related change, let's specify an overlay icon based on what we're already using in Jamf Pro Self Service. In Jamf Pro, we'll navigate to Settings, Branding, and Control-click to copy image address. Which we'll paste into our code editor. Save, and then execute Mac Health Check in a previously elevated terminal window. So that was a demo of modifying the colors and overlay icon used in Mac Health Check to better match your organization's branding. Here's a demo, again, using a previous version of Mac Health Check, of modifying the displayed list items and their associated checks. In our preferred code editor, we've opened the Mac Health Check script in both the left and right windows. On the left, we've scrolled to the list item block, which controls the information displayed to the end user. On the right, we've scrolled to the various checks. We'll close the right-hand editor and enable word grab so we don't have to scroll horizontally. Let's change some of the eye candy for the displayed number style. Okay, not bad. Let's change operation mode to test to make it faster to see all of the checks. Let's try another option. I don't know. Circles, squares. Let's get dangerous and delete some of the list items and their associated checks. Let's correct the actual numbering. And this is where it gets tedious. Looking good. We'll change operation mode to debug so the checks actually execute. Okay, I think we're ready to scope this to our testing users. So that was a demo of modifying the list items and their associated checks. Let's now discuss troubleshooting. Here's a demo, once again using a previous version of Mac Health Check, of troubleshooting invalid JSON, which is the most frequent issue introduced by Mac admins when customizing the script. We'll start by visiting the GitHub repository, switch to the development branch, and download a fresh copy of Mac Health Check. In Terminal, we'll change directory to var temp and confirm there aren't any files present. In a previously elevated terminal tab, we'll execute the downloaded script. We'll minimize Mac Health Check and switch our terminal tabs, again listing the contents of our temp. We now see there are 3 dialog-related files. We're most interested in the dialog JSON file. Since we're not running in self-service or silent mode, the dialog JSON file is purposely not deleted when the script exits. Checking for an updated listing confirms that only the dialog JSON file remains. We can use the JQ binary to view the JSON and we'll make note of the defined quit key. We'll leverage the dialog binary with the JSON file option to test the dialog JSON file. We'll gracefully close swiftDialog using the defined quit key. We can use the empty option with JQ to validate the JSON without displaying it. No output means the JSON is valid. We'll manually remove all dialog-related files from var temp and purposely edit Mac Health Check to output invalid JSON. We'll check the syntax of our change by passing -n in our Z shell command. No output means the script has valid syntax. However, executing the script, we can observe the script running in terminal, but the actual dialog isn't displayed. Reviewing the script's output, we observe JSON import failed. Reusing JQEmpty, we can now see the error. Let's open the JSON in VS Code. Tell VS Code we're working with JSON, then review the problems. We'll add the missing line ending, save the file, and reuse both JQEmpty and swiftDialog itself to test. Now that we know why our JSON failed, let's correct Mac Health Check. Let's again clear out our temporary directory. And re-execute Mac Health Check. So that was a demo of how to troubleshoot invalid JSON in Mac Health Check. Here's a resource. Be sure to check out the blog post for detailed step-by-step instructions, including one approach to upgrading your customized Mac Health Check script. Well, that's it. What questions can I answer?
Wow, that was impressive.
Dan, the floor is still yours, unless you want me to. I'm not sure.
No, if anybody has questions, I have not looked at the chat while I was presenting.
Dan, are you able to see the Q&A? Sometimes you can. Sometimes.
Oh, let's see. I see more. Here we are. From Matt, is there a JSON schema to set values, or does it need to be set in the script? Currently, it's set in the script, but I'm always in favor of feature complete pull requests. Tony, in your course of helping out so many people with Mac Health Check, have you ever run into the organization or story where you see someone run too many checks and ultimately cause problems? I have not, but I could see that you get overload. It's up to the Mac admin to say, okay, we don't care about all these things. This is the only thing we care about. Ultimately, what is it going to take for your Mac to pass your network access controls? Because if you have network access controls, how are you currently providing your users visibility to those? I know you know what they are. You've got Jamf compliance editor set up and everything, but how are you exposing that to your end users? And so that's kind of what Mac Health Check is. Rob, is the dialog file generated by swiftDialog or by Mac Health Check? Mac Health Swift, and believe it does a pre-flight installs when needed. Yeah, that's correct. What's the next in the future updates? I think you're saying, can you please advance to the next slide? Here is a 70-second demo of deploying Mac Health Check version 3, which is MDM agnostic. This just so happens to be on a Mac enrolled in an MDM other than Jamf Pro.
Oh, what MDM is that?
I don't know.
No one can tell.
Nobody can tell.
They definitely weren't at JNUC 2 years ago.
So that is a demo of Mac Health Check version 3, which is MDM agnostic. Let's see, where did I lose the questions? So James, I don't know if I answered your question or not. Is test mode mainly to check the script for syntax errors? No, it's mainly to check for swiftDialog UI. You want to just run through the checks really quick. You want to make sure you've got the verbiage the way you like it. And so you just throw it in test mode and just runs through it really fast. Will silent mode still send information to webhooks? Yes, because it's just running a policy, right? And your policy says after you do this, send the webhook. Oh, and Tony already said that. Yes, and it's been amazing to be able to just get alerts. Oh, very good. Joseph, what would you say best practices would be to use Mac Health Check silently to identify compliance issues and then get those Macs and smart groups to track? No. So the way we're using Mac Health Check is for when things go sideways. So we already have health checks for all the critical items that we use for network access control. So I'll just pick on CrowdStrike Falcon. So if Falcon is unhealthy, I've got a kickstart script. And so they get scoped into a smart group and a kickstart script, and that catches about 98%. It's the 2% that are always used by C-level execs, right? That are always sideways. And so then we have a very tight integration with ServiceNow where a ticket is generated and the user is then informed, hey, you've got an issue. Will you please log into the Workforce App Store and run Mac Health Check? I think actually step 0 there is, hey, will you please reboot? And before we were doing that, the users would say, everything's fine. What are you talking about? Oh, you can't manage my computer. I'm so upset. They don't know, right? And so now the users can log in, run Mac Health Check, go, oh, well, I probably should have our EDR running. And so that has helped quite a bit. So this is not a replacement for compliance. This is to provide your users visibility and to help your tier 1 and tier 2 confirm that they've remediated it. That was the other big thing is, hey, I think we've got this. I ran the scripts that you've got in Beyond Trust Remote Support to automate all this stuff. How do I know if it actually worked? Well, you do an update inventory. Well, just run Mac Health Check. And that way you can do it before and after, and it just helps them close the loop there. I don't know if I answered your question. Matt, I think you were at your quota, buddy. Would it cause a problem to store the script in a location like user shared and run a policy to run it can be available offline? I think that should be fine. It's just I think that would be fine. As far as running it offline, the critical stuff for us are all the external checks, right? We want to make sure it can reach back and run our Jamf Pro policies to make sure the Mac's healthy. I'm sure none of us have ever had the MDM profile go missing after an OS update. So the binary is still installed, it's still checking in, but there's no MDM profile. And so everything is sideways. Well, they can come in, at least run a policy and go, oh, well, I've got all these errors. I think I got all of them. So I'm happy to stop sharing unless there's something else.
Dan, that was tight. First things first, thank you so much. That was smooth, tight. You ripped through the questions. Well done. So first things first, everyone, thank you to Dan, not just for presenting on LaunchPad, but also for, the blood, sweat, and tears and time pouring into that tool to share with the community. I think we all very, very much appreciate it. So thank you so much, Dan.
Happy to help.
With that said, we got about 10 minutes left on the call. So if anybody has some other questions that like just burning questions, feel free to try and get those in here.
Oh, Keith has a question here. Does that mean it has to be rewritten in Bash instead of Z shell? No. I don't know if you saw it, but there's a script in the repo which encodes the script. And so you deploy that as shell, and it then works with Z shell. So, and then there's a Mac health check channel on the Mac admin Slack. You can hit us up with questions there.
Beautiful. If anybody on the Rocket Man team has an open window right now, just remind me, what's the date and the next topic? Do we have a meeting invite for the next topic? I think something that we're trying to do is have our meeting invite for the next month's on this meetup, so we don't, we can just keep people going and rolling. Looks like we might not have that
Yeah.
one. Ooh, cliffhanger, exciting. You have to tune in to find out who our next meetup is. Tall task to follow Dan, though, as always.
Yeah. So we've been accepting submissions for presentations for the last couple months. The Rocket Man team is going to be sifting through those proposals, and before the next meetup, well before it, because we need to announce it, we'll be picking the schedule for 2026. So that's going to be pretty exciting. But as of this point, we have not picked any presentations, so we do not currently have a presenter for next month.
I do feel quite strongly, though, that the next meetup will be on January 9th. January 2nd, as a Friday, I think there would probably be 6 or 7 of us here, but
yeah,
well,
and one of them will not be me if it's January 2nd.
Yeah, so January 9th can at least be penciled into your calendars. We'll make sure that we follow up with everyone. I'm trying to think, we got 8 minutes left. We got Dan here. Does anybody have any questions for Dan or even just the room? That the world's our oyster here. We can ask anybody anything at this point within reason.
Mike Holliday had asked about DDMOS reminder, and this is still being recorded, right? I'm hoping that's my ticket to Kansas City barbecue. So you can go to my blog post to read about it. And there's also a channel in Mac admin Slack for that. And if you're going to get started with that, do version 2. But wait until next week because there's a pending pull request, which is super cool.
I wanted to see if I could set up a poll because I'm curious how many days people are going to work between like the week of Christmas and the week of New Year's.
About a third.
Yeah, I'll be working every day of the holiday season this year.
Oh, that's rough.
No, it's not. I'm excited to do it.
You're excited to work between those days?
You know what? I just took a new job and I get to build the Jamf instance from the ground up. So yes, very excited.
Amazing.
I had a team that
Congrats.
was hoping to
to migrate their Jamf instance over the holidays. I think that's now off the table, thankfully.
When I introduced Zero Touch a few years back, I got more done in that last week of the year when no one was around to bother me. I basically got the entire Zero Touch setup built in a week. Like, it was so nice.
It's the magic of Christmas. It's just efficient.
It is. It's a holiday miracle.
Well, I'm going to be getting a Mac Health Checker going. That's what I'm going to be doing.
Ooh, there it is. Steve from the ropes.
It would actually the example you used it as like letting level 1 run this beforehand. Boy, oh boy, would I find that useful. I don't know how many tickets I've been getting lately where if they just had that to click on, I'd at least know what I'm walking into. So thank you, Dan, for building a wonderful tool.
Yeah. Oh, Christopher just asked a question about EA audit. I haven't planned any updates. It's working well for me. You can submit a GitHub issue if something's broke. But I'd be interested in hearing everybody's how much time they've been saving on inventory updates for that.
I'm looking forward to instituting both of those, Mac Health Check and that EA audit. That EA audit looks incredible, and we could really use it in our environment right now.
And it's a script that doesn't use swiftDialog. All right. Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Hey, Dan, thank you so much. Always a pleasure. Great job. We'll go ahead and wrap this up. So thank you everyone for coming to LaunchPad, the Jamf admin meetup. Dan was a great presenter for his second time, and we're naturally looking forward to a third time. For the first time, we're going to be doing a super brief survey once we end this meeting. We just want to make sure that we're always on track and providing good information, and you guys are finding this as a time well spent. So I think it's like 5 multiple choice questions. So look for that survey at the end. Otherwise, have a great holiday, everyone. We will see you in the new year. Thank you all so much.
Thanks a lot, everyone.
See you guys.